On this day, 478 years ago, at Umarkot in Sindh, was born the great emperor, Badshah Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. Akbar in Arabic means great, and 500 years down the line, Akbar's ideas and actions are still regarded as great. He was the man who started interfaith dialogue and put forward the enlightened philosophy of Sulh-e-Kul, or peace to all, at a time when Europe, divided on religious lines, was literally bleeding due to endless conflicts between the Protestants and the Catholics. He was the emperor who battled throughout his life for the greater rights for women, at a point when in most societies throughout the globe, women were not regarded as human beings even. Akbar's greatness touched every sphere and every aspect of contemporary Indian society. But today, we will talk of one particular social institution, a most heinous institution no doubt, which Akbar sought to eradicate root and branch. The institution of slavery goes a long way back in Indian history. There were several slave sultans who ruled over vast areas in North India from the capital in Delhi. We all have seen and enjoyed Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Padmavat, where the curious relationship between Sultan Alauddin and his slave Malik Kafur formed an important part of the storyline. Now coming back to Jalaluddin Akbar, the institution of slavery disturbed Akbar's mind right from a very early age. According to the Akbarnama, in his 7th regnal year, when Akbar was only 20 years old, he prohibited his soldiers from making captive the women, children and kinsmen of the opposing army and then selling them or keeping them as slaves. Emperor Akbar argued that while killing, whipping and imprisoning the rebels was necessary to control the country, it was thoroughly unjust to punish women and children for the misdeeds of their menfolk. That this was no empty order from a self-seeking king is convincingly proved by contemporary historical evidences. Rafiuddin Ibrahim Shirazi, a nobleman attached to the Adil Shahi court of Bijapur, has written that when he was living in the city of Agra, a friend of his happened to sell a slave. The Kotwal of Agra, on hearing this, immediately arrested that person and cut off his ear and nailed it on the walls of the Agra fort as a strong warning to others. In spite of so much efforts on the part of the emperor, when famines and epidemics happened, things were vastly different from normal. Parents had no option but to sell their children in slavery so that they did not die out of hunger. The great man that Akbar was, it was bound to disturb him greatly. Therefore, In 1594, he issued an order that if in times of acute hunger and distress, the parents have had to sell their children, then when they recover the ability to do so, they may repay the amount and get their children freed from slavery. But what if the foreign slave merchants carried these children to the faraway slave markets of Central Asia? Could the parents then recover their children? To solve this impasse, Emperor Akbar issued another order in 1594, completely prohibiting all merchants to take slaves out of Hindustan. So much effort to put down slavery. But what about the imperial family? What about the Zille-e-Ilahi himself? Was the shadow of God beyond the ambit of law? Well, no. The preacher also practiced what he preached. On the 8th of March 1582, at Fatehpur Sikri, Akbar called an extraordinary meeting of all the highest branches of the empire and thundered before them, "We have freed all the imperial slaves who exceed hundreds and thousands in number. To count as my slaves, whom I have captured by force, means stepping outside the realm of justice and discernment." Abul Fazl tells us, from that day onward, all the former slaves of Emperor Akbar were styled as chelas or disciples. Those among the former slaves who wished to go elsewhere were immediately granted the permission. Those who wished to stay back had their wages fixed according to the type of work they wanted to perform. In those days of personal government, it is difficult to say how effective Akbar's measures were. Hindustan was a huge country and difficulties were definitely there in implementing the imperial order. However, even Abdul Qadir Badauni, perhaps the biggest critic of Akbar, had to confess that due to the emperor's efforts, the practice of selling children in slavery has gone down. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest testimony to the greatness of Shahanshah Abul Fath Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar.